Okay, welcome back to Orb Plus. We're currently looking for a trade. Currently, sorry for the blank screen there. We're up a lot on the month. I almost don't want to trade today because we held on to it for so long over here. It's kind of skewing my judgment just a little bit. Just a little bit. See how high we go now. Dang. 0.76 lots. We're almost there, chat. Almost there, comment section. We can almost say, I can almost say, I have made one lot. Almost. We still have a long way to go. So let's go ahead and examine this. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and examine this first so that way you guys get a decent picture of what I'm looking at. Um, I started on the daily when I mapped this out. So we broke structure, I think. We did not break structure here. Instead, we broke structure here above this high, right? We broke structure. This became an order block on the daily, which is overlapping with another order block on the. I think this is an hour order block. I could be wrong. Strong draws on liquidity all throughout this. We had a fair value gap here. We had smaller order block here. We've got a couple order blocks within this that price could just come down, take out whenever it wants, manipulate, and then continue higher. My thought process is what's going to happen is we'll have a disrespect of an order block within this range. Price will come up high enough to manipulate this high, and then immediately after turn around and hit all of this. On our 4 hour, it just says more of the same. I didn't really map any of this out because we were in a downtrend. I'm more focused on from yesterday-ish up to here. I know we broke structure here. I know that this right here is our order block on the 4 hour, right? But I got nitpicky. Wanted to get real close to it, so I marked literally the bottom half of this on the hour because on the hour and the 30-minute, it gives a little bit more of a detailed, okay, this is an order block that we can take and look at. Higher time frame, hold higher power. I'm gonna move this here. Okay. From this move up, we had huge move, and then we had another break here with this order block. But as you can see, price has already come back up and revisited this, disrespected this order block. So failed breaker block. We broke structure again down here, giving way to this order block. Continue up, and we have yet to come back down to revisit this. We have a fair value gap here, saying price will continue higher, which is what we wanted to do. We wanted to manipulate this, and say immediately after. Should I think I messed something up? I did. There we go. After it manipulates this, the prediction is that price is actually going to come flying back down. So we're currently waiting on that to happen. And I could be completely wrong. Today we have no news. Just on the same page. Pardon the flashbang. I'm flashbanging myself. There's a blank Wednesday slate right there. You can see it. I can see it. We can see it. Okay. And that's currently what I'm working with. Oh yeah, that's the 4 hour. Let's go to the hour real quick. So here's the hour, and you can see where I was saying before, we broke structure here. I'm marked from this point down, but realistically speaking, this right here is the entirety of the move down before this break of structure, making this whole thing an order block on the 4 hour. This line is our order block on the hourly, and then we gave, I think on the 30-minute there was an order block within this, because this was more of a move down than this was. This is the bottom of this fair value gap as well, bottom of this fair value gap. This was the bottom of this entire leg down. Figured that'd be a draw of liquidity. We had this move down, which we broke above the high. And because this was the move down, we encompassed the entirety of it. I marked this as a draw of liquidity. Forget what I did here. I don't know if that was an order block or what. That may be an order block on the 30-minute because we broke a structure above this. It's a little bit more clear. We broke structure here, and then we have this range to work with. I'll be honest, I mark a lot of stuff really, really quick without thinking, and I just go with it. Oh, man. When you yawn, it has you minimize the screen. There we go. And on 30-minute. Yeah, you can see a little bit better there. Didn't break structure off of this at all. Until like right here, which we could have marked this right here, but price had already disrespected it. Instead, I wanted to get a range where price had respected. We got this right here where price legit just went up and out of, and then we got this right here after breaking structure off of this high, smaller time frame order block, more of a refined zone, if you will. I figured, okay, if price is going to manipulate this high, it can come all the way down within this, but we absolutely need this zone right here to get disrespected in order for the order block as a whole to have a valid retest, because it can close within this. There's potential for it to, and it just respect it. But if we get a revisit, a retrace back down into this, and for whatever reason it decides to close below this range, I am very curious to see if it will actually disrespect this range here, just so it can continue. And if it does, that would mean it's going after these lows here, each of these red lines, because that one, we have relative equal highs, or highs? Relative equal lows throughout this. Trendline lows as well. And then, of course, we had the inverse of fair value gap. And if it closes below this line, that will mean to me that it's actually continuing on lower. At which point, we'll be looking at this right here as a secondary fair value gap that it could potentially reverse, which I'm all for. I don't mind it reversing at all, but at the same time, that's also going to be an area of high volatility. I'm kind of anticipating it just reversing in the middle of one of these, right? Just one of them. Let's go ahead and do this, because this is a range that we could wind up making a mistake on. Gosh, pardon me, it's been a minute since I woke up at 8 a.m. Okay. And then up here, of course, we have closest high. We have order block here. Mark the top of the move. Can't mark anything down below because price is within that range. We had a high here, top of a fair value gap, and then the all-time high here. And I could be wrong. I could be very wrong about this. I think what could potentially happen, I know I probably have said it before, but I'll say it probably again. Although price can manipulate the high, I'm also anticipating it actually manipulating the low, hitting this key level here before it passes up above this high. Simply because if it does, if it chooses to do that, that would mean it's actually manipulating the lows first, which is completely fine, completely relevant to do that. Um, but the question in prediction would be where exactly after it manipulates which low will it go? Because if it continues lower, that actually works in our favor. But if it can't, problems. It looks like it's actually respected the order block up high. It's come within this, closed within, and then has proceeded to recede on back down. So we could have been right. We might be right about this order block being respected, which would make this move here a breaker block on a higher time frame. Let's take a look at the hour, see if that works for us. Came up within, breaker block, move down. I don't want to invest anything just yet because we are 30 minutes away from market open-ish. Yeah, we're in pre-market between this and this. We need that order block to get disrespected. It being disrespected will also hand us a break of structure, which works. Even if it's not disrespected, we should be seeing a break of structure from this low here, making this entire range here an order block. We can go ahead and remove this because we know it was respected. If we get a full-on reversal here, I'm not entirely looking for the rest of my confluences, but at the same time, if we do manage to get it, that would be very, very fun to look at. This candle would be the candle for us to see that break of structure on, so it also works. It would also give us an inverse fair value gap. I'm just not noticing this right here. This fair value gap would be inverted if this candle closed right now. We have 25 minutes for that to go though, so we'll wait, give it its time. I think what's going to happen is we'll see this candle close, and then on the next candle, either it continues and closes below, which solidifies that break of structure, gives us a fair value gap on the 30-minute as well, or we'll see on the 9:30 candle that price actually wants to manipulate the key level to continue higher. Very curious to know exactly what it's going to do and how it's going to do that. I know and recognize that we can miss a little bit here. There's we're missing a little bit to confirm that hey, price is actually going to go in that direction before we just jump in, because if we choose to invest now and it does manipulate that low, we kind of be shooting ourselves in the foot taking on price during retrace. We were in an uptrend, and if this closes on the 30-minute, on the hour, we'd be in a downtrend. What does the 4-hour say at the moment? 4-hour says we are still in an uptrend regardless of what happens to this order block. So right now everything lines up with the daily saying we're in an uptrend. Daily's got a huge leg down in order for price to break structure. There's no fair value gap except for this right here for it to inverse. And the hour pretty much matches the 4, with the exception of if this closes, it will simply be a break of structure on the hour. So yeah, I think that's what we're waiting on. Break of structure on the 30, break of structure on the hour. It'll need to plummet in order to break structure on the 4, get it to match. There's no fair value gap on the 4, except for the green all the way down. I think we need to do this here. Alright, so we had breaking structure here, order block here. If that closes on the NASDAQ, it'll be a full-on disrespect. We did break structure on the NASDAQ for the 30-minute. Do we invert this? If this closes, it will. Let's go to the 5-minute. Or not the 5-minute because we're not there yet. Let me go to the hour. Hour has yet to break structure on the NASDAQ. We broke structure on the NASDAQ right here. This low was broke below. Continue on down. Order block, come up, respect, breaker block, move down. Continuation of the break of structure. Let's go to the 4-hour, reconfirm. We did not break structure, but we are currently in the midst of reversing this fair value gap. I think it's going to continue down. Let's go to the 5-minute, swap to S&P. Here we are with the S&P. Move down here. Break of structure there. Fair value gaps here and here. Do I think it's going to inverse this? I don't know, but at the same time, this is the 5-minute chart. Let's go to the 30-minute. 30-minute full-on reverse that. In the next 20 minutes, that'll close, and we'll see a reversal of this and break structure there that we're wanting on the S&P. Again, we want this to get reversed, we want this to get hit, and then we want to look for our key confluences. Let's go to the hour so we can take a look at this. I know not to use this right here for much outside of, ooh, look, the volume says it's actually going lower. Or price is actually going lower. And then the volume saying in which direction it's going. There we go. If order closed now and be it disrespected. Order block on the 30 minutes specifically. Alright, that's a key level hit. Let's move to the 5. We're looking for an inverse value gap. We're looking for something that'll come up within and retest this. Because we broke structure here, right? Gave us an order block there, but then we ultimately broke structure here, giving this order block, right? The question then becomes, what will hit first? Both were hit at the same time. Charts are aligned. We got a small SMT right here off the break of structure. We need this candle to close below this. There we go. Full on disrespect. Let's go ahead and see the retrace real quick. I just realized we actually got an inverse for value gap right there too. Okay, so I think that actually works in our benefit. This whole move down inverted this for value gap right here. That works. And then from that inverse fair value gap, we'll be looking for another fair value gap to form. Either a fair value gap, we could see the breaker block form by coming up into this. We could be also seeing, that would make this whole thing an order block. And then if equilibrium wanted to show up, let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. It's high here, down to this low here. Price could come up within this range here, close within, respect. It could wick above it if it wanted to. As soon as it's closed within this, we can see it drop. After that, I say within this, we'll take a look as it reaches this point, and then we'll look for the 1 minute break of structure or an inverse value. Something saying within this that it's going to be closing and then reversing in the opposite direction again, because it will have also respected this fair value gap. This falls like directly down the center of it. So and right now the 5 minute says it's actually just tanking. It's just going to keep going down. So we're hitting this retrace to further confirm that price is in fact going to continue down and that our idea is going to be correct in the long run. I waited so long yesterday, guys. I sat there and I went for hours thinking the trade idea was right, and it was. I mean, it was very much so right, but it created an all-time high. I thought it would actually continue higher than that. I'm like, oh, oops, dumb mistake on my part, guys. I held that junk all the way to market close, thinking nothing bad would happen if I could just sit there and pay attention to it. But then my data, the phone data, crapped out on me in the middle of town. I'm like, well, this sucks because I know the chart at home's still going, but I can't do anything about it. Glad I learned that, though. Glad I learned that lesson the hard way. You got a price gap right there, too. Tempted to call that an inverse value gap. Might not give us what we want here, so I'm going to look at the 1 minute real quick. Okay, so we have an inverse value gap here, break of structure there. We could see it continue higher, but if it chooses not to, it'll be the inverse of this, break, and then continue on down. And this would be a risky trade because we're working off of pre-market hours when I know that's not a good idea. Let me see. We didn't break structure for that. We broke structure there, making that the order block. Here's the 1 minute order block that we're working with. From there down to there. That's what we're working with. Either it continues higher and we'll see it close within that range, which right now the MACD suggests that it would. We'll see the cross above the 10-day moving average. Once it's crossed above that, we'll see it go within this range here, which is what we want it to do. We want to see that equilibrium fulfilled. we don't get equilibrium, then we'll be looking for it to continue back down. I don't think we'll be breaking. We won't be breaking structure. I think we're actually going to be seeing an inverse for value gap on the 5-minute first, because it inverted this gap here. Let's wait and see. We know what it's doing on the 1-minute. It's not going to give us much in return, so let's wait and see what happens on the 5. It's got 3 minutes to close, and it can go wherever it wants to. I think that would be our break of structure on the 1-minute right there. Boom, closure below a low, break of structure, order block is where it is. Here's our order block that it's got to retrace into. This will be our breaker block on a 1-minute. Either it continues, it respects this and continues higher, following into this area. We'll see it fill this, close within, jump back down on the 5, just because the higher time frame holds the higher power. Or it'll disrespect this completely and actually continue on down. Just go to the 5-minute, check this. I'm actually curious because that's forming the way it is right now. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. 4-hour does not say we broke structure yet, but the hour does. The hour 100% broke structure. Same deal with the 30-minute. We're doing this play kind of riskily, because the 4-hour and the day both say we're on an uptrend, right? We haven't broke structure on any of them at all. We're kind of hoping for the lower time frames to influence the higher time frames just a little bit, even though they hold the higher power. Then again, if this candle closes in the down direction, respects the order block, and then we see the break of structure back to the upside, that's going to be a little bit on the irritating side, just a little bit, because at that point it will have completely invalidated the trade idea. We'll see the break of structure within the 5-minute here, like in the next couple of minutes. And then from there, if we see the rest of the confluence saying, hey, price is actually going in the up direction because we manipulated a low in order to continue higher, that's going to be kind of bittersweet. We'll have to restart from scratch again. Kinda. I think I did this wrong too. I think we'll see it a little bit more clearly right quick. I think what we're doing right now is a little bit risky because we started off in an odd spot using structure before market open. The market's not open yet. We're still in pre-market, right? So I think what we need to do is not reevaluate, but completely shift our time. Because if we choose and see, if we see a reversal right now, that actually works for us because the low was manipulated first. And that would be the confirmation that it's actually going back higher. We'd be looking for a continuance after, and that would be in the form of a fair value gap. Or in this case, it would be an order block, and then the retrace into a breaker block on the 5, and then continuation higher. We have a high form there. Because right now, if it were to close up there into that range, like we're wanting it to, that would also be a break of structure. Problematic. Regardless, we're still waiting. I'm gonna pause the video right quick. I'll be right back. I'm keeping an eye on it the whole time. Alright, we're back. See? I ain't kidding. We're gonna be keeping a sharp eye on this. Is anybody else having issues with YouTube stuff recently? Like, I tried uploading a video the other day and it just would not upload. We had like, I tried uploading that thing like 4 different times on the same browser and it just did not work the entire time. Like, okay, I'm gonna have to like fix this crap now. Because it just did not want to go. So you had a retrace, no break of structure. We had an inverse. We're now within the order block from before, but that's no longer an order block because we didn't break structure. Actually, on the 1 minute we did. Let me see what the 1 minute's doing right quick. Yeah. Order block, break of structure, retrace within this, it respected. Again, I guess retrace. We'll see it come up within and then respect that same zone. Dang. Okay. So it's pushing it all the way down. I'm all for it. I know this is going to look messy. I kind of want to see what this looks like though. Something's got to come up within this range. We got a fair value gap though. That actually works in our favor. I was looking for equilibrium the whole time. We got a fair value gap. On this fair value gap, we go to 1 minute. Actually, no, we have to wait for this candle to close. My mistake. We have to wait 3 more minutes. When this candle closes, if we have a fair value gap here, that's the confluence I was looking for. From that confluence, we need to be looking on the 1 minute for a break of structure or an inverse fair value gap saying, hey, yeah, price is actually going farther down. I'm actually very tempted to say, let's go ahead and just sell now because we're almost at our first take profit. And actually, if we hit this before we go to the 1 minute and see that, I'm tempted to go ahead and press sell here. Just let that be a thing. I'll place my stop loss like right up above these highs. The risk to reward is going to be abysmal, but it'll look okay. We have hit it. a minute to go. In a minute, this could change. That's why I'm hesitant right now. Kind of like what it's doing right now. If we close above it, I'll be looking at the 1 minute for a break of structure. Hello. 10 seconds on that part. Three, two. All right, 1 minute we go. Boom. We broke structure there first. We're looking at this here. Inverse for value gap, we'd enter up into that, or break a structure, we'd enter right here into this. And that would fall in line. It wouldn't be within this area, but it'd be within this area again. Let's see. Actually got the inverse for value gap. That works. So for 5 minutes. Boom. This is a short, not a long, on purpose. We'll bring it up into this right here. My take profit is going to go kind of crazy. Say for a safe start, it'd be like be like right in there. That would be hunting down. This is excessive. Risking $3 for a potential 50. Kind of crazy, just a little. Especially when we've already manipulated this low. So it's a full-on reversal, break of structure, fair value gap on the hour. Continue the fair value gap gives us continuation. It's disrespected this right here. Disrespected that there. There's nothing saying it should continue higher and hit this. What do I think could happen as a result? I think we need to do this right there. I think I'm satisfied with this. I think risking $4 for a potential 50 is excessive. That's like a 1 to 10 if I'm not mistaken. Let me go ahead and not this. I want the other one. This. So my stop loss is right here. And then my final take profit it's like right in this. That's a 1 to 13. That's not a 1 to 10. That is a 1 to 13. Excessive? Yeah. Do I think we're going to hit that? No. No, I don't. I think we'll see it go down a lot, but we won't be seeing it go down that far. Unless it wants to. I mean, okay. This was a risk of a trade. We're using pre-market price to determine where it'll go when market opens and between 10:30 and 5, right? We broke structure on the hour and the 30-minute. We revisited it, right? We waited for fair value gap to form. We waited for our first confluence. We had a small SMT. We had an inverse of a price gap, which I'm treating like a fair value gap. So inverse fair value gap on the 5-minute. From there, we saw fair value gap form on the 5-minute. See that right here, right? From that fair value gap, we waited for the break of structure on the 1-minute here. And then from that, we are looking at price continue on down. At the same time, I'm a little shaky on the confirmation, right? Because we hit the first key level and that was a low, right? We broke past this order block here, disrespecting it completely. That was a key level as well. We wanted to wait for that to get closed below. Sure enough, it did. Fair value gap, break, continue on down. We ran a little bit of a risk. We're running a little bit of a risk because instead of running counter to what I was saying earlier, where it would manipulate these highs first and then tank, we're kind of hoping that this move down is indicative that this consolidation here, all of this consolidation within this range, was the filling of orders prior, like within this here, that it had missed. And what this is doing is it's actually going to be filling this, inverting the fair value gaps, and then dropping even further to fill even more fair value gaps to retest this order block range on the 4. This is not the 4 hour. This is the 1 hour order block range. 30-minute, 1 hour order block range. Again, my final take profit is way down here because we also had a fair value gap right here. That price could come down and hit at any moment in time if it wanted to. This is on the 5-minute chart, and this is over a large span of time, a very large span of time. I'm kind of anticipating it not going my way, kinda. Short seems to be the way to go. Let's see what people on this site has to say. Every time I open this up, my eyes, like, they don't hurt. Man, is it just a flashbang every time I do. Hmm. Nothing much in regards to where, in regards to direction of price. There's nothing seriously high impact, so I might be overdoing it just a smidge. Just a smidge. I do think my idea is correct though. I'm confident in my trade at the moment. Not seeing a break of structure, seeing plenty of price gaps. See what the 4 hour is saying right quick. Okay. In the next 40 minutes, we'll know if this candle closes in the spot it's in right now. That'll be a break of structure on the 4 hour, which means this right here, this whole range will be a order block all the way up into this. I kind of want to move the stop loss because that's sitting literally on the candle. And in my experience from breaker blocks, retesting order block zones, if that retests it and the wick goes above that stop loss, I'm getting stopped out, and that's a problem. Right now, there's nothing saying price is going that high, but the 4 hour is the higher time frame on this case. The 1 hour is essentially saying almost the same thing, except my order blocks right here. This range right here is where it's going to go. So I think I want to move the stop loss, and the only reason I'm doing that is because my logic says it's going to affect this candle specifically. So I'm going to move it to the higher end of that order block specifically in order to prevent myself from getting stopped out effectively. This is on the hour because this is a long play for a 10%, a 1 to 10 risk to reward. I want to make sure that this is good. I don't mind risking $5 so long as I can hit my take profits throughout this here. Let's take a look at this real quick. We have structure there. Let's go ahead and mark this real quick. Let's mark a little bit more on the 5. We have this range here that we could hit. We have all the way down here. This right here is an order block on this time frame here. Huge fair value gap within this. We can take this right here, and I will roll back as much as possible, risking 0.6 on this trade, just so we're on the same page. That's cool. Break there, which means that would be our order block there. We'll go ahead and encompass this entire range. Give ourselves as much space as possible. There is a lot we've marked up throughout this, and I have no doubt we'll probably scale out so much by the time we get to this, it won't be much. But because price will have gone down that far, I'm really hoping it just tanks for whatever reason. We'd still be up for the month if I were to lose this trade. Very curious to know exactly if this is going to work out in my favor. Something tells me I will be waiting for a minute on this. I want to see these two hit before I leave. I say leave. I'm not going to leave, but I am going to wait patiently. These two are going to get hit first. I'll take out 0.2 at this here, and from that point forward, I'll wait patiently for the rest of it. I'll pause the video and keep it watch. We are risking 0.6 on this, so it charged us the 60 cents, which makes a little bit of sense to me, just a little bit, not a lot, but a little. Okay, this is our current gist. I'll leave this right where it is, so when I do exit the 0.2 right here, it'll list it here. You can see it plain as day. There's a fair value gap structure. Just want to retrace there. It's given us the direction. It's given us the break. It's given us a fair value gap. It's given us everything we needed. We are 4 minutes out from market open. That's really going to give us a deciding factor in this. Very curious to see what exactly is going to happen. Current direction right now is down. Hello, 9:30. Good, great. Waking up is always a chore. Messing around. 1 hour still says downtrend for this break of structure here. This candle will need to close in the next 25 minutes for it to continue on down, leaving this fair value gap right where it is. Let's see what the 4 hour says. 4 hour trying to break structure. Same story though. If this closes in the next 20 something minutes and it's below this low here, we'll see it continue on down. This is going to be a high confluence area. This right here is going to be a really interesting one. I don't think it'll go down that far. I think if we're lucky and it disrespects this right here, we could get our final take profit right here. And that would still be a 1 to 8 risk to reward, which I'm all for. Now it seems as though we broke structure, which is cool. We have order block there. We want to see this disrespect completely, so it's got to close below this low, break structure again, just continue on down. If it retraces up, it can close within and then drop below. The retrace is, it was expected. It's got to retest this area right here, which was disrespected to begin with on the higher time frame. Let's actually take a look at that right quick. Not the 2 hour, 1 hour, right here, right there. Oh wait, no, was it the hour? It might be the 30 minute. Let's see. It was the 30 minute. Okay, so it's got to retest this area real quick, and then it might drop back down, which is completely fine. We put our stop loss all the way up here, so there is a potential for it to close within and then drop. We still have a fair value gap right there that if it closes can respect as well. We don't want it to close above this line here. I think it's going to continue lower. I think it will respect this, and we'll see it just tank on the hour, on the 30 minutes specifically. On this one, same story, I think. Yeah, same story. It broke structure temporarily to retest this, which is exactly, it's just completely fine. Yeah, 45 seconds for this to close. We'll see what happens. There's the revisit to equilibrium right there. That's what we were wanting from it earlier, which is completely fine. We could have probably gotten a better deal right there, but it's completely fine. Something to note as well. Oh well, never mind. I'm looking at this now. I thought this was going to be a false signal because the lines I thought did not cross, but price is above it. Lines above that orange one. So we could be seeing it continue higher briefly. That bites a little bit. Just a smidge. Same story though. I think it'll continue lower. Let's go ahead and close this. Pretty sure I said it in the last video I uploaded. The one for Tuesday. I won't be trading Thursday because we have FOMC folder that day. It happens pretty later on, a little later in the day, but I'm not too thrilled about that being on the calendar. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna de-risk completely like that day because I've done so well so far. I don't want to risk anything that day. I'm gonna set it to the side, leave it be. Not gonna bother with it at all because it's just not worth losing that day. Today is prime time. I don't mind trading. It looks like the idea is right so far. It's just in a retrace is all. Here we go. stuff. I'll be right back. Look at that. I use bike. The meme's not wrong. How can bro sit in bed for 20 years, letting their family go through poverty, and hop up to go to a candy factory? And if you know what meme I'm talking about, you might as well go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because, yeah, that's not wrong. Hmm. Well then, that was easy. Ouch. Big pain. Golly. Okay, that works. No, no, that was him. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Looks like we're gonna get stopped out. Big sand. Big, big, big sand. Looks like it is revisiting this order block up here. Whether or not it'll respect it and continue lower is beyond me, though. This is for the 30-minute? Yeah. So it's within that now. Good stretch. Good stretch, good itch, good scratch. Good scratch. Good scratch specifically. Good, good, good. Am I awake now? Not really. We anticipated it would revisit that area. That's why the stop loss is set where it is. It's not moving again. It can close within that range, and then it could easily drop immediately after, which I think it will do, because it is in retrace right now for these two candles on the 30-minute. My biggest issue right now that I'm looking at, you see how high it is up there? You see how close we are to 1030? I think we're going to have a repeat of what happened yesterday, where it'll revisit that area and then it'll slowly trickle back down to where this right here was. Ultimately, we'll only make like $2, I want to say. But the fact remains, like, we were good. We are good right here. There is a potential for us to go all the way through today. And it do exactly what it did yesterday. Is today Wednesday or is it Tuesday? Today's Wednesday. Yeah, today's Wednesday. Okay. So I've got a little bit of work to do today for video editing. Because yesterday I didn't exit trade till after like 6 p.m. Yeah, that happened. Couldn't get any editing done. think I need a haircut. Comment section. What do you think? I could use a haircut. My hair is like super long. Looks cool with a hat on like this, but man, it's just long. Very, very, very long. So it would be $9 from the starting point of 49.32. So we'd be down to $40. We'd still be up though. We'd be up for the month. It'd be nice to get a hold of. Did I change that? I don't think I did. It was 12 originally. Oh well. Oh no, because it changed the stop loss and where it's at. It changed the ratio completely. That's why. It's a 1 to 8. It made it more reasonable. That makes sense. Makes a lot more sense now, actually. Oh no. Looks like we're gonna get stopped out. Sad. So we lost, what was that? $5, $6, almost 7 right there. Not good, not bad. The trade idea was a solid one. We honestly could have waited a little bit longer for our market open to really hit. We didn't wait for market to open. Instead, we chose to look at this and go, yep, our low was definitely hit right here. From this, we found the rest of our confluences from this point forward. There was no real way for us to know that this was going to break structure the way it did. The real only hope that we had that price was going to continue down was on market open. And sure enough, it didn't do that. So big oops on our part, big oops on my part. The intent was for price to continue down and hit our take profits. It made more sense, kinda, but I think in the end, I was right to begin with. Price was manipulating that low, these lows, to fuel it to push higher, right? And at that point, it'll have taken these here. Man. So yeah, I think it'll just keep trucking up high. We lost today's trade. Key lessons to take away. Don't trade so early. And if you do trade early, make sure it's in the middle, not in the middle of the move, not at the end of the move. Make sure it's not at the end of the move. Get more confident with the 5-minute confirmation to better enter a trade on. I don't want to trade again today. Thursday we will not be trading. Let's take a look at Friday right quick. Pretty sure. Yeah, we went over it in the last video, but for funsies, not trading that day. Friday, though, is our last day on August to trade, and we have a red and an orange folder. Red one, red and forecast good for currency, so if it's green, it'll go up. Same story here-ish. Yep, same story. If it's green, it goes up. So far, they've remained stagnant. This right here. There we go. It's actually been at a steady decline for a little bit. Forecast was going to go higher, but it went lower. Same story here, except this was lower, it went higher, so that's fine. Yeah, that's completely fine. It was forecast to go low, it went high. Same story over here. Forecast to go low, and went high. So that's what we have to look forward to. There's potential for it to go lower. Based on the previous time this folder came out, it could go lower. Same story here. I'm gonna go stretch the rest of my bones completely out, so the next time I wake up, I'm not so needing of a stretch. Hey, man. They feel great, though. Gotta say. Thanks for watching this episode of Or Plus. If you're liking the content so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you're interested in watching my other content. All those links can be found in the description, and I'll see you next time. Bye.